Hi everyone. Hope all is well. This is McNutty here, and today we're gonna be doing a season preview and betting predictions for the Carolina Panthers for this upcoming 2026 NFL season. And the Carolina Panthers, they are a team that we are backing for this upcoming NFL season, and I bet we backed them a little bit last season, just kind of our toes in the water, and we did pretty well with them. They won the NFC North, their division last season. Maybe a little bit luckily, the Carolina Panthers only had a 8 wins, 9 losses record, but they still won their division, and that still was probably more wins than expected. And it wasn't expected that they would win their division, and yeah, so we're suggesting some plays for the Carolina Panthers. They're one of the main teams that McNutty is backing for the season. And first, I'm going to give suggested plays, and then after that, just kind of explain why, and then we'll just kind of feel our way through this. And oh yeah, just as always, information odds always change, and we try our best. Gambling's risky. Please gamble responsibly. Um, and yeah, so as Gabe Morency says, let's roll. So first, suggested plays for the Carolina Panthers for this upcoming NFL season. These first couple, they're on Caesars Sportsbook. We suggest Carolina Panthers over 6.5 wins. It's a bit juicy, -145, but we still suggest this. Carolina Panthers over 6.5 wins, -145, and also on Caesars Sportsbooks. This is a little better odds. The Carolina Panthers to make the playoffs at plus 260. So the Carolina Panthers to make the playoffs plus 260 on Caesars Sportsbook. This next suggested play is on BetMGM Sportsbook, and that is the Carolina Panthers to win the NFC conference at 50 to 1 or plus 5,000. And yeah, and to make profits of money here, just for those of you who are kind of new to future sports betting, the Carolina Panthers, they don't actually have to win the NFC conference to make money here. At plus 5,000, 50 to 1 odds. Say if the Carolina Panthers make the playoffs, or even if you let it roll, because say if you hit on that plus 260 and make the playoffs, then hey, let's see if they get to the second round of the playoffs. If they get to the second round, you're going to have a nice cashing out or hedging opportunity where you could bet against the team they're playing just to lock in something. So yeah, Carolina Panthers to win the conference 50 to 1 on BetMGM. This next play is on ScoreBet Sportsbook, and we suggest the Carolina Panthers over 7.5 wins. This is at nice plus money plus 130. So just one more win than that 6.5, and that's some nice that's some nice plus money plus 130. And our last suggested play is on DraftKings. And on DraftKings, we suggest Dave Canales, the head coach of the Carolina Panthers, to win Coach of the Year at 30 to 1 or plus 3,000. So Dave Canales, Coach of the Year, 30 to 1 or plus 3,000. Those are McNutty's suggested plays for the Carolina Panthers. And now, now what's been marinating in my head, and here's why. So first, first reason why we're kind of optimistic on the Carolina Panthers is their quarterback Bryce Young. We feel Bryce Young's received kind of some unfair criticism. He was a former first overall pick. He's going into his fourth NFL season, so about 4 years ago. I think kind of some of the criticism has been too much. I don't think he's performed as poorly as people perceive, or as a lot of folks perceive. And while he might not be a strong 1-1 first round, first overall pick, so he's the first pick of the whole draft. That's what 1-1 means for those of you who are kind of newer to this. I still think he has potential to be an above average quarterback. And if you look closely, I feel the trajectory has been slowly just steady progress. So Bryce Young going into his fourth NFL season, his rookie season was very rocky. He was sacked 62 times, only 11 passing touchdowns, only 5.5 yards per attempt. Very below average numbers for starting quarterback. He was probably in a rough situation, drafted to a pretty poor team, probably did not have a good offensive line skill position plays. Year two, 2024, Bryce Young, he threw 143 less passing attempts, but he's still up to passing touchdowns from 11 to 15. And the sacks dropped dramatically, 62 to 29. And that's it probably is improved offensive line, but I'm sure a lot of that is improved Bryce Young maturity, pocket awareness, just reading the defense quicker. And his completion percentage ticked up a point to 60.9%. Yards per attempt, probably still below league average, but 6.3 yards an attempt, point 0.8 yards per attempt on average per pass attempt. That's a huge improvement. And yeah, 15 passing touchdowns, still kept the picks down. So even as a rookie, he did not throw a lot of picks. Only 9 interceptions his second season. So yeah, steady improvement. And in that 2024 season, Bryce Young finished very strong. I remember he had an incredible game, I think, against the Atlanta Falcons. And he was pretty much one of the main reasons why I won a very contested, my favorite fantasy football league I'm in with friends that season. That was a memorable week for me. And yeah, Bryce Young and the Carolina Panthers, they defeated the Atlanta Falcons 44-38 in overtime. He had five total touchdowns, three passing touchdowns, two rushing touchdowns, no picks. Outstanding game. Bryce Young finished strong, not just that game, actually the last 3 weeks, the 2 weeks prior too. So he finished the 2024 season very strongly. And I think the Panthers only won 5 games this season, but still pretty significant progress, just the season numbers as a whole. And if you look under the hood, the last 3 weeks really bullied those season numbers. So he finished very strong. And then last season, 2025, Bryce Young, 23 passing touchdowns, career high, hit 20 passing touchdowns for the first time. 63.6% completion percentage. Completion percentage has gone up every year. Still only 6.3 yards per attempt. He threw more attempts last season than 2024, but only 11 interceptions, so 23 passing touchdowns. The interceptions seems to be first 3 years always about 10. Only sacked 27 times, kept the sacks down. And the Carolina Panthers, they won 8 games, so you have to give Bryce Young credit being the starting quarterback of a winning team. And they won 8 games. They won the NFC South, although with a below 500 record, but they still won the South. 3 more wins in the previous season. And he had a pretty strong playoff game, kind of went toe to toe with Matt Stafford. And yeah, that was a close game. And yeah, his numbers pretty solid in that game. 71.4 QBR in that game. Threw a touchdown, ran a touchdown, 264 passing yards. Yeah, I watched that game. That was a close game. It took the Rams and Matthew Stafford getting a game-winning passing touchdown on the last drive of the game to win that game. The Panthers covered the spread. They surprised a lot of people. So I see continued progress. And I'm going to attack some of the Bryce Young criticism here, too, is Bryce Young is only 25 years old. He just turned 25 on July 25th. So, like, he's going into his 4th NFL season. He just turned 25. Say Tyler Shuff, the starting quarterback for the New Orleans Saints. And I feel like there's some buzz in super flex fantasy leagues and just as a sleeper quarterback. It's the steam's kind of slowed down a little bit, but not because of Tyler Shuff, because the New Orleans Saints first round rookie draft pick receiver Jordan Tyson got hurt. But like I feel like Shuff has received a lot more praise than Bryce Young. Tyler Shuff going into his second season in the NFL. Guess what? He's 26, turning 27 in September. So check it out. Turning 27 September 28th. Tyler Shuff is turning 27 in September, and a lot of casual fans are praising him when Bryce Young takes a lot of unfair criticism. And he's going into his 4th season. It's like we hold that against him, but he's almost 2 years younger than Shuff. So he has all that experience. And when you look under the hood, as McNutty just as we just broke down a little bit, I feel that it's been consistent progress, not dramatic progress, but consistent progress for Bryce Young, consistent improvement from year to year. And even looking at a 2024 season, like the last 3 games, and then last season, more improvement. So, and even though Bryce Young was not sacked last season, we'll go into our next point here. A lot of people, the Carolina Panthers offensive line had quite a few injuries last season, and they drafted a tackle, Monroe Freeling from Georgia in the first round. And they expected some guys had minor injuries so far in training camp, but for the most part, the offensive line is projected to be healthier. Plus, you got the addition of Monroe Freeling. I think they brought over Rasheed Walker, a tackle from the Green Bay Packers, who could help too, who started quite a few games up for the Green Bay Packers the past few seasons. So that offensive line could be a strength, and Bryce Young seems to be getting better getting the ball quicker and just making better decisions, not turning the ball over, which he's actually been pretty strong at not throwing picks. But yeah, so if he can even get a better offensive line, that should help us in the Carolina Panthers more. And in the defense, the Carolina Panthers defense, I feel like they had an underrated defense last season. I think they're ready. I think they've made the proper additions to actually have a to maybe have a widely regarded as a good to very good defense this season. Um, excuse me, sorry. Their two biggest additions were in free agency. Linebackers Jalen Phillips, outside linebacker, pass rusher from the Miami Dolphins. Some folks in the industry believe they overpaid for him. They might have, but I still think he's going to help the Carolina Panthers defense. Um, and then we have Devin Lloyd. I like the Devin Lloyd pickup. Devin Lloyd, 5 interceptions last year, Jacksonville Jaguars. Former first round pick going into his fourth season. He's kind of, I feel like Devin Lloyd's kind of a jack of all trades linebacker. He had 5 interceptions last season. His rookie season, 2022, had 3 interceptions. He's had 2 seasons with two. Yeah, he recovers some fumbles. Three of his years, he's had over 100 tackles. He breaks up quite a few passes. Looks like he had a 99-yard pick six last season. I really like the Devin Lloyd pickup. I think he can help this defense a lot. Um, and then the Carolina Panthers linebacking core, they did lose a promising young linebacker, Nick Scorton, to a torn ACL in training camp. That definitely hurts. But projected to take over is Patrick Jones the second, who only had 1 sack in 4 games for the Carolina Panthers last season. But 2 seasons ago on the Minnesota Vikings, he had 7 sacks as I think kind of a mostly every down linebacker, but probably not quite a full time player. So, and he was pretty good in college at Pitt too as a playmaker. So I feel like Patrick Jones the second, he only played 4 games last season. I feel like, hey, it would not be surprising if he could get 7 to 8 sacks for the Carolina Panthers this season. And Nick Scorton, there was a lot of hype in him going into his second season. Had 5 sacks in just limited time last season. I think some diehard Carolina Panthers fans were optimistic maybe he could get double-digit sacks. That loss hurts, but I think Patrick Jones the second could help fill his shoes, could help fill that hole a little bit. Excuse me, I'm sorry. And also in the defense, probably maybe regarded as the best, yeah, maybe widely regarded as the best returning player in the defense is their nose tackle, Derek Brown. He's very athletic for defensive tackle, 5 sacks last season. In 2023, had over 100 tackles as a defensive tackle, which is rare. Those are the really big guys, thick guys in the middle. I mean, if a defensive tackle, say, for example, racks up 60 total tackles, that's usually uncharted territory. He racked up over 100. That's like middle linebacker territory. Said 5 sacks is rare too for defensive tackles. So yeah, so we're up. So Derek Brown, and they drafted a defensive tackle in the second round to potentially maybe pair with him, Lee Hunter from Texas Tech. Lee Hunter, second round pick. I don't know too much about him, but still second round pick, defensive tackle, pretty good size. Made some plays at Texas Tech. Yeah, so hopefully he can contribute. And their secondary was probably the strength of the defense last season. And with their cornerbacks, J.C. Horn and Mike Jackson, they're pretty good cornerbacks. And then we also have J.C. Horn and Mike Jackson. The safeties, Trayvon Morig. Trayvon Morig had a pretty good season last season. Sorry about that. Thank you. I got some cough here. Yeah, so that defense was underrated last season, and we feel like that defense can take a step forward to probably be above average, good to very good defense this season. I'm sorry. Yeah, so we're optimistic on the defense, and then yeah. So now we mentioned the offensive line. We feel the offensive line will hopefully improve, and yeah, the Panthers, as a lot of folks know, they have the reigning Rookie of the Year offensive player in Tete Rolla McMillan, who I feel is an outstanding wide receiver going to his second season. That's great. He's returning. We're optimistic on Jalen Coker. Jalen Coker, undrafted wide receiver. The Carolina Panthers just gave him a nice contract extension. I think a 3 year around could be offered this, but I think around a $39 million 3 year contract extension, and that is kind of uncharted territory for um, undrafted wide receiver to get that kind of money. So that just shows to me that's just showing what kind of faith the Carolina Panthers have in Jalen Coker. And he was hurt for most of the first half last season. He's going into his third NFL season, but he has 872 receiving yards and 89 targets in his NFL career, 5 receiving touchdowns. So he's pretty efficient when the ball gets thrown his way, almost 10 yards per target. And he finished last season strong. He had a monster playoff game against the Los Angeles Rams. 9 receptions on 12 targets for 134 receiving yards, 1 touchdown, 5 first downs. That's an outstanding game. Um, we're optimistic. Hopefully, a healthy Jalen Coker throughout the full season can help Bryce Young, help take some pressure off Tetero and McMillan, and really help this offense out, and maybe help Bryce Young increase those passing touchdowns even further. And also they signed Darren Waller, who is a bit older. He's kind of gone back and forth in retirement. Yeah, kind of a bit older as a. I don't know if Darren Waller projects to be their starting tight end, but definitely in the. I feel like if Darren Waller is coming back to play, he's at least going to be in the rotation. Used to be an elite tight end. When he was younger, had some off the field problems, but he seems to have resolved that. What I like about Darren Waller is I feel like he could be a very nice red zone security blanket for Bryce Young, and probably even third down security blanket. Like, he does not have to be an every down. I'm not tight end at this point in his career, but used to have elite athleticism, probably still solid athleticism. He's like 6'6", 250 pounds. I think he could be a nice red zone security blanket. Probably more so than the other two tight ends in their roster, Jatavion Sanders and Tommy Tremble. So, like with Darren Waller, Jalen Coker, improved offensive line, I think that could help Bryce Young out nicely. And the last offensive piece we're kind of excited about is we're actually not as down on Chuba Hubbard, the returning running back, as most folks are, but we do really like Jonathan Brooks, who has unfortunately suffered 2 torn ACLs, so I think the same leg. Um, he's only recently turned 23 years old. Jonathan Brooks, we're very optimistic. I think it's been about 21 months since his last torn ACL. So all signs have been great from all the reports I've seen online in training camp. For example, how what the Carolina Panthers think of Jonathan Brooks, they spent a second round draft pick. Running backs usually are not drafted high unless they're highly regarded or considered special. Second round, 46 overall, 2024 draft, and he was coming off a torn ACL to end his college career. So they knew they weren't going to get much from him that rookie season, and they still spent a second round pick on him. And then he played towards the end of the 2024 season, and he tore his ACL again. Unfortunately, that's very tough. Jonathan Brooks seems like a very good young kid. He seems to have a good attitude, be very resilient. All reports have been good. It's been 21 months, I think, since his last ACL reconstruction surgery. All counts, he's performing great in training camp. They spent a second round pick on him, and they knew they weren't going to get much production from him his rookie season. That just shows if he did not tear his ACL in college, he probably would have been a late first round pick. His numbers at Texas were not outstanding, but I watched his highlights. They're impressive. Outstanding burst, great vision, anticipation. Good size for a running back. Even caught 25 passes that season for 286 yards. Pretty efficient, 11.4 yards a catch as a receiving back. I'm optimistic, and I know some people are very optimistic on it. I don't even think Jonathan Brooks has to be a stud to help the Carolina Panthers get over 6.5 and 7.5 wins. But I think he can help Chuba Hubbard in this offense. And yes, that's just kind of the reasons why we're optimistic on the Carolina Panthers. And yeah, I think they could surprise. And the Dave Canales Coach of the Year. I feel like Dave Canales, he's a good offensive coach. Yeah, I know he had done some good stuff with Baker Mayfield and Tampa and too prior. And also what he has going for him is they're overcoming that Nick Scotton injury, and they also lost rookie third round receiver, I think, to a torn ACL, Chris Brazell. But they still do have Xavier Legette, who was kind of probably a bust for a first round pick. I think he was a 2024 first round, 32nd overall. But he could still be a good number three wide receiver option, even though he has not lived up to the hype as a late first round pick receiver. But I still think he could be Xavier Legette could be a good number three option. And I think the Carolina Panthers could surprise people. I feel like they have a great chance to win this division. And I actually think they have a good chance. Their schedule is pretty tough because they have a first place schedule, even though they only won 8 and 9 because they won the division. But I feel like they can win 10. I feel like 10 wins isn't out of the question. If they win 10 games and win that division, Dave Canales should definitely and will most likely definitely be in the conversation for coach of the year. And yeah, that's just McNutty's feels and what's simmering in my head, marinating for for our Carolina Panthers plays for this upcoming 2026 NFL season. I'm just going to repeat the plays here for those of you. We suggest on Caesars Sportsbook, Carolina Panthers over 6.5 wins, -145 to make the playoffs, +260. On BetMGM, Carolina Panthers to win the NFC Conference, +5,000 or 50 to 1. On ScoreBet, Carolina Panthers over 7.5 wins, +130. And on DraftKings, Dave Canales, Coach of the Year, +3,000 or 30 to 1. That's our suggested plays. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for watching. If you have not subscribed, we greatly appreciate it. If you consider subscribing, hit that subscribe button. I feel like there might be a notification button. I'm still kind of new to this. I'm not the most tech savvy. Probably hit a notification button when we drop a video. Probably might alert you. And yeah, if you'd consider liking this video, if you genuinely approve of it, I don't want you to do anything you don't approve of. But if you approve it, give us a like. We appreciate it. And you can also follow us on X. My X tag is BWI McNutty, just BWIMCNUTTY. And as always, gambling's risky. Please gamble responsibly. Please follow local laws. Information odds always change. We try our best. We might be off on some stuff. Yeah, this is for fun. This is for fun. I love to do this stuff. And if you need gambling help, you can call 1-800-GAMBLER. Again, 1-800-GAMBLER. And thank you for your time. Have a great day. Until we meet again, McNutty. Bye.